So here we are again, guys. Yes, here we are going to test again in the dev server what are the differences between basically three maybe AA systems against the PANTSIR. Can the Iris TSLM, can the SlamRam or the Python or the Derby of the Spider beat the PANTSIR? So let's basically take a look on that today, okay? So yeah, we are again going to basically have an idea over here. We can already keep a look on, and you will already see the difference, guys. A couple of things that we're gonna notice here, of course, just like we did yesterday, is energy, because of course turn-wise there are a couple of features that will make a difference, like for example G-limit, and of course the guidance method. Of course the PANTSIR is SACLOS, right? So you have to properly guide it, while these missiles are IR or radar guided, which are much easier to operate, of course, in the terms of you can just fire and forget, right, normally. So they're gonna be easier to use, and they turn sometimes more or less depending on the missile. So the main change that we need to talk about here is the energy, of course, to see if they are going to basically make the PANTSIR go weak, basically, right? The first thing, of course, with energy is looking at max speed, just like we did yesterday. So we're gonna check it out, the max speed of these missiles, which is not a lot, I must say. And then the range, they basically pass below Mach 1, which is something that will make the missile basically go kaput, right? It's not gonna turn anymore, and it's gonna be bad. So yeah, let's keep an eye out. You can already see the max speeds are not the greatest thing ever. Around Mach what? Mach 1, maybe, Mach 2, sorry. And then it goes below that, so 1.99, something like that. And then let's take a look on the speed where the missiles go below Mach 1. And you will notice that it is normally around, in the Iris T, 12 kilometers. Okay, one of the best missiles in the game on that regard. And you will notice that this happens a lot with these missiles, right? It is a missile that likes to take its time to accelerate. Let's see this one, where is it? And it has a very good range on the terms of energy, right? So it can pull like a very good amount of Gs, and again Mach 1 and below 12 point something. So you will see that it is around 12 kilometers where the Iris T will be pretty much almost useless and unless the target is not moving itself, okay? So you have to think about that. Of course, it will vary depending on the target and stuff, but this is for the Iris TSLM, right? So around 12 kilometers for Mach 1 and below, around Mach 2 of max speed. Okay, let's take a look, of course, again with the SlamRam and the Spider. So we are here again. Let's see the same stats, of course. Where is the missile? Oh, it's being launched. So you will see this is an M120. I will focus more on the M120 because it has way more range than the M9X. So I will focus on that. On the other hand, on the Spider, we will focus on the Python 5 that I think has more range, but for now, than the Derby. So not more range, but you know what I mean, right? So you can already see that the missile, let me just deaccelerate this, it's climbing to a higher speed than the Iris T, so we got up to like 2.3 Mach. Let's see where does he actually land below Mach 1. So very good drag compared to the Iris T, as you see. Very low drag, you know. So you can see that the speed maintains very, very, very well. But it will be kind of similar. A little bit more, maybe, or around the same. Let's see. No, a little bit more. So it's turning as well, but around 12 kilometers this one was, right? Let's see other launches over here. We're going to wait for another launch just to make sure, because that target was moving very sideways, right? Jesus Christ, I'm way too close to the missile to be able to have a bigger picture. Now let me deaccelerate again. So again, it will get up to Mach 2.331 in this case. And then it will start to lose energy. Of course, it still has a sustainer and everything sometimes, but it will still lose a lot of energy, especially when it loses the engine, right? So again, let's try to see what is the distance that we go below Mach 1. Mach 1.3, 1.2, 1.1. See, 12 kilometers, gonna hit that target. So yeah, it was around 12 kilometers. It can be a little bit more. It was doing the final pushes of turn, right? And of course, you will notice that these systems, they, like I said, they will have different turns. So for example, this is a 35G limit missile. The Iris-T, remember, is a missile that turns 40 Gs, okay? And then the Pantsir, the Pantsir turns, oh my god, so many buttons, turns 32. So technically, the Iris-T and the MO20C5, they will be better in the turn, right? And even with the Spider over here, we have the Python with 50 Gs, right? Let's take a look on the Python. While we are looking at this, just remember that, okay, that, I mean, these missiles are IR or radar guided. This is the derbies, right? We're gonna ignore a little bit of the derbies. We're gonna check out the Pythons, okay, which are, I think, a little bit better. And just remember, IR guidance and radar guidance will be easier to use than the suckles of the Pantsir. So there is that to consider, okay? While you're gonna see what the energy looks like on the Pantsir and my point on the video. So again, the Python over here. So let me just take it down the speed. So Mach 1 already. It climbs a lot for some reason, this missile. As you can see, very fast as well. Faster missile that we can get, 2.4 more or less Mach. So, and this is a very aggressive loft, right? And we're gonna wait until below Mach 1. Remember, this missile is the missile that most turns from what we tested, right? So it's the 50G missile. So for shorter ranges, it will be the best missile out of them all, okay? But for longer ranges, and that's the idea here, because remember, the KH-38, stuff like that, we need to have range. So Mach 1 point something, and then yes, look at this, so 10.3, so around 12 kilometers for this, the SlamRam and the Iris-T, more on the MO20 a little bit, less a little bit on the Iris-T, and 10 kilometers more or less for that. But then let me show to you guys what the Pantsir looks like and why, and I'm already gonna give it to you a little bit. The Pantsir still is the king. Yeah, the Pantsir is still probably going to be the best AA system in terms of range, on the very least. Of course, remember, a little bit difficult to guide the missile compared to the other ones. It has 32 G, so it's a missile that least turns out of the 3 that we showed. But it's not by much. And yeah, guys, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it. So we're gonna do the same test. We're gonna just check out the speeds and everything to check out the energy. We can use StatShark to do this, but I really wanted to show to you guys properly, right? And I don't think StatShark added some of these missiles yet, like the Python 5 and stuff. But I really wanted to show to you guys properly what a Pantsir looks like compared to other missiles. The Pantsir is... oh my god, the Pantsir gives me nightmares, man, in this game. Oh my god. So we're figuring it out. So yeah, I'm gonna take it down a little bit because it's way too fast for me to even go with it. But look at the speed. Yeah. Yeah, so guys, how do I explain to you guys that the Iris-T doesn't even go Mach 2, basically? The MO20 gets to like Mach 2.3, the Python like 2.4, and then we have the Pantsir going at Mach 3.7. 3.7 with a very good sustainer even. Look at that. It's maintaining the 3.6 for a very long time. So yeah, this is the problem with the Pantsir, guys. It's not the amount of turn that the missile has or anything like that. Remember as well, guys, there is one factor on the IR guidance especially, that targets won't know that the missile is coming, okay? So you gotta think about that. But look at this. It already traveled 5 kilometers and it's still at Mach 3. This is how crazy this missile is compared to the other ones. These are speeds that no other missile even get up to. So for example here, we are still at 8 kilometers and the missile is still faster than the maximum speed of any other missile that we tested. Have you... yeah, no words. No words. So, yeah, It takes a long time for this thing to not have any maneuverability at Mach 1. You can even hit targets. I kind of lose the target there, but look at that. Already 14 kilometers. It's turning and stuff, and it's still at Mach 1.2. It's very slow, of course, but it's still above the speeds that you see the other ones. So Mach 1 over here, it did a lot of wobbliness there, but 16 kilometers. It means that a target that it's not moving, guys, at all, or slightly moving maybe, still can get hurted by this missile at more than 16 kilometers, while the other ones still don't have a chance of getting up to 10 or 12. So yes, this wouldn't be a problem, okay? This wouldn't be a problem. But then we have something called a KH-38, where in the same nation as the Pantsir, you have a problem that you can outrange it, every single other AA system with that missile. So this is where I think it's kind of problematic. Most sources claim that these ranges are supposed to be better in the other AA systems. We are still in the work in progress stage of the dev server, so everything is subject to change, okay? Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at that, boys. It's complicated, isn't it, guys? Yeah, the guidance system is obviously way better on the other systems. You know, having an IR missile, I think it's the best choice ever. I mean, if the Pantsir was data link together with INS IR missile, it would be the most OP missile ever, because it would just rely on, of course, the IRCCM to just ignore everything. But at the same time, guys, look at this. I mean, you kind of don't even need anything else. I mean, remember that, of course, the Pantsir will tell the target that the missile is coming, okay? It is actually going to tell the target normally with the more modern RWRs. But it's still kind of crazy to see something like this, isn't it? I mean, look at this, man. The amount of speed that the missile carries, it carries like Mach 2 plus at 10 kilometers of range. This is one more of a test over here that I did. This is the maximum, like, without low altitude as possible, you know, lowest altitude as possible, how much speed the missile can take, like, just going straight on. Look at this. 12 kilometers, and it was a Mach 2. 12 kilometers. This is where the AIM-120C5 already doesn't have energy. And this thing is going at Mach 2. It's Mach 1.5. Oh, I misclicked. Mach 1.5. And it is at 16 kilometers, man. So it's a bit... 17 kilometers, look at that. 18. So if you even don't move the target... Yeah, look at that. He reached Mach 1 at 20 kilometers. So technically, it could even hit a target at 20 kilometers if the target doesn't move, right? So, and that was for a very low altitude. So, yeah, guys, I don't know. Still work in progress, of course. We cannot know for sure how everything will be added. Everything is getting fixed day by day. But I don't see these missiles getting as strong as the Pantsir. Again, I think the only thing that you have to take from this is that, on the very least, the Pantsir is not an IR or radar-guided missile. It is a SACL. So sometimes it can be very easy to avoid it from a very far distance, just because the pilot of the Pantsir needs to guide a missile, right? But at the same time, it has so much energy that it doesn't matter, right? It will still get you. And you know how the Pantsir is very strong, like the strongest AA system in the game, right? So I know Gaijin is doing something to try to compete with it. But let's be honest, it's not a competition. It's not a competition. The Pantsir still will outrange most missiles that the CAS has, and for other nations, right? And the other AA systems will not outrange the KH-38. I think the combination of a Pantsir and a KH-38 in the same team, it might be the main problem here. Does it break the game? Maybe not. But guys, I'm not saying that it's bad to have a Pantsir. I think everybody needs to have a Pantsir, because CAS needs to be a little bit more difficult than it is against other nations, at least, to play against, right? Or to play with. So the point is that everybody should have something similar to the Pantsir. But the problem is, we got AIM-9Xs and Python 5s and the most modern missiles in the world, and it's still not enough to beat the Python, like the distance that the Pantsir can do. So it's problematic. So you let me know in the comments. Of course, guys, I know just remember, guys, everybody has a bias, okay? I'm not trying to be biased here, okay? I'm really trying to make a game more balanced. I really honestly thought the Emo 20 and Python 5s and derbies and everything would fix this problem. It's not fixing it. You know, for now at least, it's not fixing it, I don't think. Yes, these missiles are going to be easier to use, better to use in a general sense, but they will have less energy, meaning that you can still outrange all of these AA systems from afar with the KH-38, and you don't need to even do maneuvers. It's just very easy to avoid them. Against the Pantsir, it's a different level, so I just want everybody to have a Pantsir level AA. Something like that at least, right? But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about it. I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye guys, see you.